Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host
Chip.
There he is over there. Tonight, SEC v. Ripple leads to regulatory clarity or a complete meltdown of the crypto market in the U.S. If you guys are ready for this, Chip, you ready to go?
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Oh, what is good, Chip? What is good?
Well, the beginning of a new week is good. And also, I'll tell you what else is good. While we're all here chatting and being friends and all that stuff, welcome On the Chain community. Jeff and I really want you guys to know about our other channel. So we're starting to drop videos over there. We have On the Chain, which is upload short form videos, 8 to 12 minutes long, 15 minutes, usually short form stuff that Jeff and I are going to start putting up. And then we've got this channel, which is the live channel. So this is the channel that we will be, doing all our live streams. But guys, go check it out. I'll drop it in the chat in a second. Just we had some little technical difficulties here and there, which sometimes happens. But
technical difficulties here on the chain. So
it's like the mic doesn't work, this doesn't work, this blown out, this thing's not happening, the wrong camera's working. It's like it should be just pretty simplified at this point, but it's right. I mean, you would think that at some point it would just become pretty stabilized.
One day, if I can figure out how to zoom in my video a little bit better, then I won't be so small. And be like,
oh, Jeff, hang on a second. Let me take a drink out of my official.
Oh, what is that?
The chain.
The official On the Chain water bottle. Where did you get that?
Look at that. Well, I got that at onthechain.shop, Jeff, in case you're wondering.
Man,
Bam.
I did. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Boom.
I think it's magic.
It's magic, man.
So we have got, what is your other channel name? The other channel is On the Chain. So we've got On the Chain Live. And on the other one, we do have short form videos, and we are starting to drop regular daily content over on the other channel. Once or twice a day, you can expect new content over there. And you're always going to tune in here for the live stream Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So lots to talk about, Chip, and we can dig right in because you know what? On Friday, there was another hearing, the SEC, Ripple, and it just seems like every single day we get a little bit closer to regulatory clarity. And then I feel like and I was able to tune in for a little bit and listen, but I feel like with every step forward, there's 2 steps back with the SEC, and it just, I feel like they're just traps in some, inconsistencies here.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, it was funny. I'll tell you what's interesting is that the first time, the last hearing I tried to get into, I couldn't get into, and they said, whatever you do, don't log in early. So I was like, all right, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to come in like 3 minutes before. Couldn't get in. And then some of the attorneys couldn't get in because so this time they increased the capacity to 4,000. Couldn't get in. So it was like funny. Like Jeff couldn't get in. He's like, man, like Jeff came in like right at this right time. He's like, I can't get in. So I called him and looped him in the conversation. He listened for a while, but he had to drop off. I had to sort of like do some other things in the meantime. I heard most of it, and I gotta tell you, man, I just the SEC. Every single time that I hear them in a hearing, they seem to be more and more clueless, right? What were your takes on just what you heard? I mean, based on,
I heard the judge kept yelling at the one attorney, you're talking too fast. You're talking too fast. And I was confused at first. I couldn't tell if that was the SEC attorney, if it was the Ripple attorney. And then I heard then finally I could hear what he was saying. And she's like, you're talking too fast. I'm like, I don't know. I'm listening, but maybe it was the court stenographer couldn't keep up with what he was saying. And she was like, slow down.
He goes,
how many times did you have to say that?
3 times. 3 times that I counted. Maybe Mel, she listened as well. But I was like listening. Mel G was in there. So listening. He's like, okay, Judge, I will. Okay, so the SEC. I'm like, whoa, he's going to get sanctioned again. And she always sounds like that. The judge is like, would you please slow down so the court reporter can, she like enunciates every word so the court reporter can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I was like, and I felt like I felt like she was getting a little perturbed, but then I feel like she's often like that. But the questions she asked, And man, I got to tell you, the Ripple attorneys, they're just so solid. They're just so freaking solid, man. And they were arguing all kinds, again, going down the rabbit hole. And, the judge basically said, well, I'm not going to give a ruling now. It'll be next week. There's a lot of stuff to consider. I want to go back and read some stuff. And she didn't want to go ahead and make a ruling, which it's fair. You don't want to necessarily, make a snap judgment. So she really wants to think about it. Now, there was only, they kept referencing, and maybe Mel G knows, but one company where there was a precedent set, some case law where they went over and got some foreign, inquiries. But the thing is, it was only one company. You can't really compare apples to apples. It was like, yeah, well, kind of, if you go down that road. But that was one of the things that the SEC kept saying, well, there's precedents. And then you started hearing that, the Ripple attorneys saying, well, yeah, there was key differences in that case versus this case. And I kind of feel like, Ripple is in the right here. And again, the SEC, what is all this? What is all this? It sounds like they don't have a strong case here, Jeff, just from what,
Seems like they're a little bit lost.
They seem to be lost in a lot of this stuff, which is really crazy, man. The whole thing's it's insane.
Well, it's interesting. There was a tweet here that came up by XRP Stewart, quoting something that came up from Gary Gensler back in 2018. And the statement from Gary Gensler back in 2018 was, this will not be resolved just by Securities and Exchange Commission. It'll be resolved by some courts, whether it's appellate or Supreme Court. And this has to do with XRP, whether it's a security or not. And so here you go. It's at the court level, but there's no preparation. I'm just, the more I see of what's been unfolding lately with the SEC, it's been such a sham, with how they approach the whole GameStop thing, how they're approaching the Ripple thing, how they're approaching the library thing. Now there was some statement that they're coming after Volkswagen because Volkswagen put up some ad. It was like a joke ad with EV. So now the SEC is coming after Volkswagen because they're not sure if maybe their joke ad somehow enticed people to buy stock in Volkswagen. And this whole thing is just unreal. It's like, what in the world are they doing?
Well, they're not protecting. They're not protecting the investors. Look at MLG says this. SEC was like, well, yeah, we're doing all these things to get it done quicker, implying we're doing this for all of us. Sí, pero no. Yeah, sí, pero no.
Doing it quicker. That's just the one thing that it kind of drives me crazy. Oh, we're so tired about talking about this for so long. You always get that. We don't want to keep talking about this. Hear a lot. In the political space, like when they're trying to put off the opposition. Oh, that's such an old subject. We're all so tired of talking about that. Well, you know what? That's what your job is. You're supposed to figure it out. So we don't want it. Exactly. We don't want it expedited. I don't want to see an expedited case at this point. I want to see clarity at the end of the case. That's what it's all about. If it takes 6 more months, so be it. We need clarity. We need an end resolve to all of this, to what's going on.
Yeah, and and the sad part of that really is, I don't necessarily think we're going to get it, maybe the way we're looking for it or the way we expect it, but I do think that, because I'm really clear, I think almost everybody's clear. I was in a group the other day and they were going off on this and that and raising all these points. I'm like, wait, chill. This is about one thing and one thing only. Forget about all the stuff and the complaints and they're suing Garlinghouse, they're suing Larson. It's about one thing, that in 2013, Ripple sold an unregistered security. That's it. And one of the things they could have done, Jeff, was make a distinction between today's XRP. Now, today's XRP clearly is not a security, right?
Exactly.
So, the whole idea of it having, strong use cases, the fact is that Ripple only controls 7% of the validator nodes. By the way, Jeff, this came the other day too, and I forgot to. I like these little gear bags where I throw my if I'm going somewhere, my everyday carry stuff. I always have a battery, that I travel with because I never know if I'm going to run out of power, have power somewhere. So I've got this little gear bag right here, and you can buy that on the site. Can't be 100% sure, but I think it's magic. And if you flip it over, boom, on the chain, right? So you can see by my giant hands here, you can see about how, it's big enough to throw some cords in, some cables, throw up a thing in there, but you can get that on the chain. Shop. There it is. Can't
Wow.
be 100% sure. And it's nicely made too. It's like a heavy, sort of a thick bag. So
How about that
and
shirt
this,
you're
and I got
wearing?
some,
You're all geared up in XRP
yeah, I'm geared
stuff
up today. Look at this XRP. Can't be 100% sure, but I think it's magic. I'm all down on I'm on the OTC train, Jeff. I'm just riding it.
I heard your wife really liked that shirt too.
She loved this shirt. She wasn't so down on the other shirt, but she was just like, "Oh, I like that shirt." And then she goes, "Are you gonna wear that outside?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I am." She goes, "What if people come up to you and ask what XRP?" I'm like, "Man, that'll give me my. I'll start going." You know. By the way, I was at the Apple store the other day and had to go in for something, and was talking to one of the young kids there. One of the cool, young hip, young kids there. He's got dreads, dressed really cool. And then here comes the old guy, Chip, and he's like, I don't know. Somehow he started talking about crypto, and he goes, so what do I buy? And I'm like, well, it's what would I buy, or what should you buy? He goes, well, Doge or Wen Moon. Those are the two things that came up. Doge. A lot of my friends are buying Doge. A lot of my friends are buying Wen Moon, and I was like, dude, just buy XRP, man. Buy XRP. Right. Buy ETH. Buy some fractional ETH, fractional Bitcoin. I go, take $20 a week, throw it in there. I'm like, you're young. You can be retired in like 3 years, man. You can be done in 5.
That's how you got to do it. That's how you got to do it. Some of these young kids, man, don't get it. It's funny. My son's tennis coach. So his son was all fired up because he's into gaming and showed me this brand new computer he built. Right. I'm looking at this brand new computer, and he put one of the new 3060 Ti's or 3060 whatever graphics cards. I was like, man, that's an awesome rig. Are you mining crypto? And he was just like, oh yeah, he kind of laughed. I'm like, no, I'm serious. What are you doing with that graphics card? Are you gonna do something? At least try to, do something, make some money, look into some crypto. It's like, man, you're like 15 years old. Imagine what you could do. You start investigating this stuff now, set up some nodes, do some stuff. I mean, I can't imagine how, but it's interesting trying to get that through to some of these kids today.
That's a good point MLG's bringing up. She said, I really thought the judge would rule over the weekend knowing we maxed out the call and we're standing by. So this is an important point because there's so much interest in this case. What are the hearings maxed out 4,000, right? And now we know the motion to intervene now has surpassed 15,000. So it's kind of interesting because that's a really good point. They know, and I think at one point they had actually said there somewhere, oh, there's my bro right there. There's my bro. And then, by the way, I talked to Chip. What's up, Chip? Chip. What's up, Chip? Chips are in here. Chip bros are in here. And by the way, I had a great conversation. Weekday Hustle, another Aussie. We have so many Aussie fans here, Jeff. Of course, it's like we're talking to them in the future because it's tomorrow morning. But it's cool to see them in here. We got
Johnny Nevermind over in Thailand.
Johnny Nevermind's in Thailand. Yeah, we got all kinds of cool. We got Thailand in the house. It's pretty cool, man. You really gotta really love it. And guys, drop where you're from. We'll kind of showcase it as we go, but it's really cool to kind of drop where you're from. Right here, we got XLM is very undervalued.
It is. Right now, let's see where we're at, Chip. Let's
Chip the Younger.
Take a look. Chip the Younger. Nice.
Tony Fisk, happy birthday. Is his Tony Fisk's birthday today?
It is. Wow. Happy birthday, Tony Fisk.
We got the Berg in the house. Beautiful.
Nice. So, dude, look at this. So XRP is holding strong at 157, up 51% for the past 7 days. What I'm loving here is Ethereum. Ethereum passed 3,000 yesterday or today. I don't know, up 28%. Bitcoin holding strong. Binance Coin still up over $600. It's at 625. Tether. Look at this. If you're invested in Tether, you just made a penny. Well, if you bought at 99 cents, you made 2 pennies. Look at that. I don't even know if it's possible.
You got to find a powerful.
Got to find an aggregator.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I think that's the right word. I don't know. But then Doge at 37. Uniswap keeps going up. Bitcoin Cash is down from what it was. It was over 1,000. And Litecoin's trying to hit that $300 mark again. I think once it hits 300, man, it didn't turn him back. But the whole market, the one thing that we're seeing here is we see continuous growth across the board, except for Terra. Terra's down 2.7% for the last 7 days. But look at PancakeSwap, up 36%. It's good. It's good to see the market in green. Look at this Polygon Matic chip. It's up 113% in the past 7 days.
Yeah, I own some Matic, so it's good. Well, Polygon now. I guess their symbol stayed Matic.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what it looks like there. Yeah. So it's actually
Polygon. The Polygon.
pretty interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
82 cents.
That's incredible, Jeff, because remember, we were going to have them on the show. We actually had, when they first were coming out, we were going to have one of the founders on the show. And what ended up happening was somehow he got sick, and then it got delayed, and he got sick and everything else. And it was like back then, Jeff, I think it was like less than a penny, which,
where were we? Where were we?
Look at this right here. We've got Monterey, Big Five. Thank you. Enjoy your streams. Greetings from Columbus. Is that Columbus, Ohio?
Monterey,
or like
from
Columbus,
Ohio.
the person. You're Columbus, sailed ocean blue.
He is Columbus. Yo, there's Tapped Line. What is up, Tapped Line? Look at this.
Tapped Line, or is that Tapped Line?
It could be one or the other.
Tapped Line.
I always read it as.
It's like it's tepid. It's not really. It's Tapped Line.
It's probably
Tapped
Tapped.
Line.
I always read it as Tapped, so it could be Tapped.
So we'll go with Tapped. And Jeff, tell me your pronunciation of some of your.
What is up,
Tapped? Thank you for that.
From Istanbul. He's not from Istanbul.
No, you said Istanbul. I was like, Istanbul? You're like, Istanbul.
My son is 22 and has been doing XRP, BTC, ETH for the last 3 years. He's looking to retire at 25. Wow, guys. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Tapped Line.
Thank you. Tapped Line's been around, or Tapped Line's been around for a long time with us.
That is somebody raising their son right to be successful. Turning them on to it, letting them start to make some decisions. And you know what? 3 years into that,
3 years, he's
at 25 and out. You're like, what do I do, man? I got 50 years left of my life.
I want to know who was first in crypto. Was it Tapped Senior or Tapped Junior?
Tapped.
I don't know. I just
what the hell, Jeff?
In my mind, when I see that, I just think it's probably Tapped. I just think Tapped. I don't know. That's how I interpret it. That's how I remember it. It's kind of funny.
Too much.
What is up on the chain live?
On the chain live. Yeah. So, okay, there you go.
So it's all good stuff, man. It's all good stuff. We got Seth. It's like there's people with vested interest to keep Ripple and XRP buried to ensure China's dominance. BitBoy Crypto's channel video titled "Why Stellar Lumens Can Destroy XRP in 2021" says it all. That could be interesting.
Stella. It's not. Stella. I think he meant stellar lumens. Stellar. I like Stella better. So I start calling it Stella. Which is a fantastic beer, and that's not an endorsement, but it is a fantastic beer. And
I like Stella.
Is that Belgium?
Stella is good. Believe it is from Belgium.
Yeah, it's a fantastic brew.
Belgium.
I love. Well, you say Belgium right, so that's good at least.
Well, Jack, you're kind of a lovable goofball.
You're kind of a lovable goofball. It's like the kind of Jeff,
Kind of, not really.
Like you're kind of an okay guy, but
but not
kind of tepid right there. Tepid.
Kind of tepid.
Tepid.
I'm a little tepid. That's why I guess why I see tepid because it's tepid, but they're spelled differently. So
I heard it says
something in the wood pile.
Stella beer. There's Harry.
Stella.
Harry Callahan. I like that.
Stella.
Clint Eastwood. Look at this. He says, it's weekday. He says, I agree with Patrick Chip. The guy who owns it is awesome. I don't know where I must have missed his comment there, but
yeah, but it's awesome.
Yeah, BitBoy. So BitBoy came out and he got so much. My gosh, he got so much press when he came out and said he was like, I have to rethink my thinking about it. And if I'm thinking it's the right guy I think he came out about XRP, saying how XRP and this and that. So many haters out there. Stella's from Belgium. There you go.
Hey, just real quick. If anybody sees that on the chain live wannabe that keeps posting his WhatsApp numbers, go ahead and block him and just don't even bother a timeout. Just block him. You can tell our on the chain. I don't think you can block us. But if you see that pop up again, they're in the comments as well. So go ahead if you guys, I just blocked one of them. So, but if you guys see it again, go ahead and block them.
Yeah, block, jump on that.
Block, right, report it, do whatever you guys got to do. But, sometimes these spam artists like to work their way into these chats.
I'm feeling very promotional tonight, Jeff. Look at this. I wanted to drop that link right there. Well, that's just some of the featured products we have. That's what I was just showing off a little bit earlier. And obviously we have them different colors and hoodies and sweatshirts, and
Nice.
we also have women's stuff, man. That's where we're like kind of differentiating ourselves. Cool colors, because it was somebody that pointed out that, gosh, it's really drab looking. You guys got to get some colors, but some cool hoodies. And this one, this is the next thing I'm ordering, which is like a Yeti type of cup. You know, one of those type of things. And of course, I could see kind of a lovable goofball out there shopping. Can you see Jeff carrying this around with him?
No.
I don't know if I can. No. But look, if you want to get a mask that's going to get some attention, you want XRP. I can't be 100% sure, but I think it's magic. There you go.
Hey, so since we're talking about magic and all that good stuff, can I put this article up here real quick?
Please do.
Check that out, man. Chinese crypto exchange was paralyzed after suffering serious cyber attack. I just thought that was pretty cool. I like the picture.
Look at this right here, Jeff. XRP is giving him my number. You believe this stuff?
Nice.
He's giving that guy some. I mean, you're giving my number. My gosh. I mean, come on, man. I thought you guys liked this. Holy cow.
That's hilarious. So Hotbit, I never heard of Hotbit, but apparently it's a Chinese exchange. It's temporarily shutting down following a cyber attack that paralyzed a number of its central services. Notice that we can underscore this word, central. There you go. In a statement, the Chinese crypto exchange reveals that it suffered a security breach on Friday. The hackers attempted to hack into Hotbit's wallets, but the attack was identified and stopped by the platform's risk control system. What do you think with that? You know, do you think that that's legit? Now it says here they have maintenance 7 to 14 days. Hotbit says, this is interesting. Hotbit says it'll take full responsibility for losses on leverage exchange ETFs during that period.
Interesting. What do you think the losses? Does it come out and say what the losses might be there?
I did not see that, but it is interesting. To avoid trading losses, it's also canceling all open orders until the system is restored. So could you imagine that? You know, I mean, obviously, you know, they're doing the right thing. Shut it down. You know, figure out what's been hacked. It's obviously was a major hack. If they had to shut everything down. You know, we haven't really seen that, but it doesn't say, and I doubt they'll announce, you know, how much had been taken, if anything was taken. But it just shows you, I mean, there's, you know, you got to really be careful, be vigilant. And some of these exchanges, regardless of what country they're in, they have to protect their users.
Yeah, you definitely got to protect the users without a doubt. But, you know, this is where you kind of worry about how big is the hack and do they have enough, you know, wherewithal to actually help people and protect them, because that's what you have to be worried about. I want to throw this up here. This is Tapped. Oh, you got me saying it, Jeff. Tapped Line says, this is Tapped Line Senior. Tapped was first. Give me that blue wrench and I will hammer those trolls. Ba-jom! Bam!
Boom.
So Tapped was first. So it sounds to me like the Tapped was first. Then it sounds like Sun introduced Parent to the crypto, right?
So it's taped and now it's tapped.
Well, I don't know if it's a guy or a gal. I mean, it's hard to say. Probably a guy, but you know, Tapped.
No,
Tapped was first, and you got Tapped Senior.
We've met Tapped on a call at one point.
Whoa! Look at this. What's going on? Big.
Oh, look at that.
Big bro. Come on, man. What's up
Little
with that?
bro.
Little bro. Chip the Younger is here. Chip the Younger, Jeff and Big Bro. The boys. Thanks for all the content, sharing some of my profits.
What's up, Little Chip?
You're the man.
Thank you, Little Chip.
Love you, little bro. It's so funny because he's in Texas. I'm here in Florida. You know, it's like very similar type states on the way they sort of govern and stuff, you know, the way they're kind of thinking and open. And I think Texas was one of the first ones to get rid of all this like nonsense. Thank you very much, my brother.
That's right.
Which reminds me, I got to send him a picture that I forgot to send him. It's just like weird. It's like, I'll send. Oh, I got to send him a photo. There you go. There you go. It's all Baby Bro well. Baby Bro is very successful. He's a very successful dude.
Nice.
You tell Baby Bro well. Baby Bro taught me well. What are you talking about? What do you mean, man? If there's a little chip, he needs to be called Crisp. Get it? That's a whole sort of a UK humor joke there.
Oh, yeah.
Little chips, what they call them, crisps over there. Okay, it'll be called Chris. You are now Chris. Thank you for that, brother. Crispa. Yeah. So, I mean, so, you know, when I was listening, I would go back to the SEC thing for a little bit. So now there's a hearing coming up on Monday, guys. We're pretty excited about Tuesday. Now over on Clubhouse, you can hit me up on Twitter. We had 1,000 invites. John Deaton is going to be doing about 45 minutes to an hour, kind of talking about the hearing that's going to happen tomorrow. He's going to be talking about it on Clubhouse. And then at Tuesday at 8 p.m., we have none other than the legend, Alex Mashinsky's coming back on the chain. Obviously, if you guys don't know him, he's the CEO of Celsius Network, which Jeff and I are big fans of. And he'll be on here. It's, I think, the third time, right? Technically the fourth time because the fourth show. Third time because we did an after show. Right. Jeff and I used to do an after show because we would have a serious interview, then we'd have an after show where we talk about personal stuff and, you know, things like that. But now that we've got this other channel, we're doing all this other stuff, so that's kind of where we're at.
So Matt LaRoche is saying, Alex Mashinsky, ask him about migration to ADA. You can ask him yourself. You can type in the Q&A. We're gonna have a Q&A section. It's gonna be live. So
yeah, it's going to be live.
Previously, we taped it and premiered, but since we do everything live right now, it's going to be 100% live. So
yeah, so you guys, that was the whole reason too, is we said, you know, we have taped interviews in the past, but you guys are asking questions if we premiere it. And Alex was cool enough to come on at 8 o'clock at night, come on the chain again. And, you know, if you look at a company, you look at a guy, you look at a track record, we always talk about how important teams are. Alex, this is his 6th startup. You know, he's really sort of like, He's the one that birthed the voice over IP, which is basically connecting, you know, anytime you're sending voice over the internet, which is an IP address, you're using the technology that he sort of pioneered back in the day. And he had 2 of the largest exits out of the top 10 exits in New York City. So he's the real deal. And he started Celsius.network, not for people to have off ramps, for people to take their bag, stick it over there, and let's, for example, if you put it, is it USD? Which is the core? Is it Tether? If you put it in a Tether, I think it's 10.5%.
Yeah, if you move USDC over there, but I think they do USDT as well. I believe.
Yeah, USDT. But then
I think we'll have to look at that one. But USDC pays 10.5%. Matic, they'd been paying like 11 or 12% on Matic.
See, that's phenomenal.
I think up to 13% on Matic. You know, so somebody just brought this up, and we'll ask Alex about this as well. We'll get firsthand knowledge. But
Jeff, hang on one second. Let me interrupt you for a second. Deja Blue says, "Hey, give a shout out. Hey, big shout out to Finnegan. I know it's time for bed. We appreciate you being a fan, and you know you're 10, man. Sometimes those them the breaks. You got to go to bed a little bit early. So big shout out to Finnegan. Get to bed.
That's awesome.
Listen to Mom.
And if you can get your hard. Well-deserved crypto, you know, if you do your chores around the house, you know, and it's great, right? You get paid in crypto because, you know, why spend it now? You can stockpile the crypto, and then you go from 10 by the time, you know, he's ready for college when he's 18, he's going to have a stockpile of crypto sitting there. It's amazing, you know, what you can do, you know, for kids nowadays. You just put a little bit aside, you know, all the time and, you know, find a mechanism to get their allowance over there. I think would be awesome. Yep.
Look at this. So Sir John says, by the way, Sir John says, Mashinsky's a great showman. He really knows how to hypnotize viewers. I'm reluctant to giving him my crypto to custody, but if I had to, it would be him. Well, if you had to, it would be him. And the funny thing about it is, when you think about Mashinsky, look, I look at track records and I look at what he's doing. We're going to be asking him about the insurance because he was working on rolling out insurance for, you know, individual holders. So once that happens, yeah, and I agree with this statement wholeheartedly. Celsius will be the last man standing. And, you know, when you look at something like Nexo, we've done so much. I mean, Nexo's hurt so many people. They're in some Eastern Bloc country. One of the things that you have to understand about Celsius is that they went, you know, when we first had them on the show, Jeff and I researched it, and we noticed that right out of the gate, before they even really started as a company, went to the regulators. They wanted to make sure everything was right out of the gate. And that's what you do when you're a serious player. And if you're some shady company who you don't know who to contact when you get liquidated in the middle of the night because you couldn't top it off because the network was down, I'm talking about companies like Nexo. You know, this is the problem. You're in some country that nobody knows how to reach you. You don't know if it's above board or not. And I'm not saying it's a bad overall company overall, because they, not everybody's had bad experiences. But the point of the matter is, I'll choose a U.S. regulated company any day of the week. You know why? Yep. Otherwise, the SEC will be busting them before you know it, Jeff.
And Celsius and Alex Mashinsky is based in New York, and they've got an office in New York. They have an office in London. They have offices in different parts of the world. They have a whole team over here. We've communicated with their team, and it's difficult when you look around and you see some teams that are in certain countries. And I think it's amazing, and I've said it time after time after time, that the digital asset crypto space represents an opportunity for people in every country, sometimes for the first time ever, to take part in the direction that technology is moving in. It used to be consolidated in Silicon Valley, but now you see it everywhere, all over the world. Unfortunately, you still need to be a little bit cautious and cognizant of where some of these projects are developing, because the regulation that they have in certain countries is very, very thin. Look at what happened over in Turkey. They have very, very thin regulation when it came to crypto exchanges. Basically, anybody could open up a crypto exchange. So would you, as an outsider, and they did, right, give it to anybody. And what happened? The one guy left with $2 billion. So then now all of a sudden in Turkey, they're looking at it and saying, well, maybe we should try to regulate this a little bit and figure it out. So you want DeFi, you want decentralization, you got to be cautious. And then when you do invest, you have to make sure of the entity that you're trading with, that you're putting your money with. And people are concerned about that, and rightfully so. Everybody should be concerned. You should do enough research to get a good understanding of where you're holding your asset, and stay in tune with that. Because here's when you look, oh, there we go. So when you look at this, so Celsius did suffer a third-party data breach. So you had customers report phishing texts and emails. So just like some of the big credit exchanges, what was it? What are one of the big three credit exchanges? Got hacked, and they lost people's data. Banks lose people's data. A lot of the big entities, Facebook lost people's data. But fortunately, if their overall security is strong enough, it only gets to their email systems. And so here it says crypto lending service Celsius has discovered a data breach with one of its third-party service providers has exposed the personal information of its customers. An email sent to Celsius customers and shared with CoinDesk confirmed. So they went to a third-party email distribution system, didn't hack Celsius directly. Again, and so this is where they're going to get it. They might not get to the entity, but there's all these other elements that go with every company, and you got to be wary of that, so I mean, Chip, you got to be cautious with the emails and phone calls. I talked about it yesterday a little bit. I get a lot of calls from John over in Bombay. Well, actually, no, he's John with the IRS. But
well, I get a lot of calls. I'm always wondering, geez, where could I possibly find a way to extend my car's warranty? And the good news is every day I get 2 or 3 calls. It's like, hello, did you want to extend your warranty? And it's like different computerized voices and AI, and I'm like, no, I don't know. Did somebody put me on some list somewhere? I mean, my God, it's like, how many things can you possibly talk about? So there was a really good question in here. Hang on a second. I want to jump to this, Jeff.
That's just funny. I get those calls all the time.
Right?
That's so it's so funny.
Oh, I think I hate when you just, what I wish there was? Here we go, right here. So Kathy Spicuza, maybe I'm saying that wrong. Sorry about that, Kathy. What's the difference between Celsius and Trustline? It's a really good question. So again, we're looking to have Trustline on the show. Trustline, here we go, right here. Trustline's rolling out the Let me go ahead and share this really quick. Here we go. It's not really quick. You got to hit 15 buttons, right, Jeff? So they're rolling out this stable coin, which will be backed by Flare, XRP, and other cryptocurrencies. It's the first stable coin to be put on the network. And also, too, the Trustline app they're also going to have, I believe, something like a liquidity pool. Not 100%, exactly. 100% on it. But what you would do is you would take your XRP, you take your Flare, whatever, you'd be able to earn, some kind of rewards. And again, I'd love to know more about it, exactly what is going on. I did read the white paper on it as well. Now, the reason Celsius is a little bit different, the whole idea behind Celsius, and this is what Alex Mashinsky told us, is that Celsius was rolled out to not be Wall Street 2.0, right? So, and how banks work, banks keep 99.99%, and they go, we're going to, if you keep your money with us, we're going to give you a 0.1% of interest, or you get to pay us to keep your money at the bank, which is what you have in these negative interest rates over in Europe. You get to pay the bank to keep your money there. Oh, isn't that fantastic? What Alex Mashinsky did was he has an 80-20 rule where 80% of the money, obviously, of institutional investors that they loan to, and they pay whatever the percentage rate is, he returns 80% back to the consumer, and then he keeps 20% for himself. And he even dared some other people. He goes, there's a lot of wannabes that come in the space. He goes, I've said, hey, if you want to do it, you want to one-up me, give back 90%. If you can run on 10% for yourself, do it. And we had reached out to Alex Mashinsky one time, Jeff. Remember, there's someone, who was it that asked the question about where can I get my Celsius credit card? Where can I get that?
Oh,
we reached out to Alex, and you remember what Alex said?
Yeah, no, their objective, their business model is holding. They're a hodling, focused business model, and that's where they don't want people to spend their digital asset. That's their objective. It's long term, and I think one of the things he talked about a lot was passive income. How do you leverage your current holdings for long term passive income growth? And I think that's important. That's an important distinction, very important distinction.
Yeah, it's very key. So, and the thing about it is when you think about when a network like that, and he kind of made the example. He's like, so you have some crypto, and then 2 years out, it's worth $2 million. Well, instead of losing your bag, why don't you go put it on Celsius, or at least put $1 million? And suppose you're getting, 8% or 12%. 12% on $1 million, that's $120,000 a year that you're living off of. He said, once you get your stuff paid for, and you don't really have many bills, what could you really live off of? Could you live lean for $60,000? Well, you don't have a house payment, you don't have car payments, you don't have, you just have basic utilities, travel expenses, whatever. So the money you actually need, he's like, why not put it on the network?
That's right.
Oh, Jason, thank you for that. Jason coming
through. Appreciate that, Jason.
With the big 20, man. Beautiful. Nice. Thank you. I'm sorry, we couldn't see the he sent something, we can't see it here. That was bums me out. Let's see what that is.
But hey, there was a comment right before Jason threw that out there from Joe Capozzi, and he was saying SEC, basically the title, what's going on? Where are we talking about regulatory clarity and the meltdown? That's kind of what we talked about for the first 20 minutes or so in the video. So if you want to rewind, go back, we can check that out again.
Yeah, we usually hit that first, so that's why you probably, you come in, you're like, wait a minute, what are these clowns talking about now?
Yeah,
it could be almost anything.
Do you read Portuguese?
I do not read Portuguese, but I usually can translate. I just get my son-in-law who's from Brazil.
Something, the commentary of XRP. What is the sentiment of Jeff? No, I don't know that. I don't know that.
What I would usually do is copy
Spanish.
Since we can't copy and paste on this thing. Actually, you can. Can we copy and paste in here? And you can't. That's one of the weird things. You can't copy and paste.
No, we'd have to go to YouTube and copy and paste it.
Look at John Gage. He goes, I got a fever, and the only cure is more clarity.
More clarity. That's right. And we need, and that goes back. I like that statement. We need clarity in the space. So the one thing
solves everything, Jeff.
It solves everything. And I look at the development and the growth in this space, and we're talking about what's going on right now with Alex Mashinsky and Celsius and what they can do, what they can accomplish. Yesterday, I talked a lot about what's happening right now in regards to capital gains tax and what the current government in the U.S. wants to do as punitive measures against people that are trying to better their lives. And they want to penalize people that are investing with 43, 50, 60, up to 80%, capital gains tax on their investment, and regulatory clarity is something that we need, because one, you need clarity in terms of what your asset is all about, what you're investing in. We need clarity to make a determination to stop the government overreach, to make a determination on whether or not what we're investing is not a security. Whether it's XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever else, without that regulatory clarity, it's all subjective. It's subjective to, this torturous, drag on, from the government. I mean, it's crazy, because they don't know. They don't have any idea what's going on. And that's where, John Gage over here is 100% right. The only cure is more clarity, and we need that clarity. Unfortunately, it's a little bit lacking. And then we can go back to what Gensler said back in 2018. We said the only way is for it to go to a court.
That's exactly right. The only unfortunately, that's why I think it was probably really beneficial for. I might freeze it up here. It looks like I am, Jeff.
Yeah.
Man, oh man alive. I'll tell you what, man. This software, I'm not really impressed by it.
Slow.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, what I did was I had another window open. I actually closed it because I was trying to, you know what it is here.
Oh, there's
Portuguese
our
translation.
There you go. Good evening. Have you commented on the XRP versus SEC case? Yes.
How does Jeff feel about XRP currently? Likes it.
Do you think it's about to explode?
Hells to the yeah.
I think it's following the market trend. I think the market trend is moving up. I think, we see every digital asset in the top grouping, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even BNB, that are hitting, new highs. BTC hasn't hit a new high yet, but some of the others have. Why wouldn't XRP follow in that trend? There's also been, in my opinion, a separation between the SEC case and XRP. That's not financial advice. I'm just observing the market, just watching what's happening. But Chip, I think there's a lot happening. It's so here's the question back to you. Without regulatory clarity, if we continue down this path, what happens to the crypto space in the U.S.?
Disintegrates. Ripple just moved to another country. They moved to Singapore. They moved to Dubai. I mean, they don't care. They're like, we're out of here. We can probably have everything moved over in a weekend. We're done. We're out. Just abandon the building and then go. I wanted to pose a question to the OTC family, because I saw this article, Jeff, and I'm just wondering. It basically says crypto holders say it's hurt their personal relationships. A greater portion of assets in crypto makes issues more likely, and they're saying big gains or losses can have an impact, according to an analyst. Many downsides are well known. Of course, there's volatility. If you're a Bitcoin investor, it can go touches 64 and then falls back down to 47. They say about 60% of crypto investors say their belief or investments in the space have had a negative impact on their personal relationships, according to a SurveyMonkey survey. And who doesn't trust SurveyMonkey? Performed on the behalf of .tech domains that looked at numerous issues around digital assets. What's more, there's a direct correlation between the percentage of someone's net worth that's invested in crypto and the likelihood. Well, this is interesting. I'm just curious how people feel in the chat. Has it hurt? It really hasn't mine. I mean, my wife was always like, I'm really excited that you're into it. But, I think what changed over a little bit of time was she dove into crypto too and started seeing gains, and, we do it together. So now she says, did you buy the dip?
Nice.
That was, so it's a big sort of a change.
You missed it.
You didn't buy the dip. What the hell,
didn't buy the dip.
Right.
Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to Scott Smith. This is,
sorry, dude. Go ahead and click that again.
Scott Smith, first time, I don't know if first time, but he finally got to listen to On the Chain live right here. And we do stream 6 days a week. So you have 6 opportunities to tune in. You have Sunday all the way through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Saturday mornings also at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is awesome. And Chip, did you know that we're starting again to post regular videos over on the other channel?
Yeah, I did know that, in fact, Jeff, and I knew it to the point of where I would just pop this casually in there. So, guys, go click on that link right now. Go quickly subscribe. There's a new video dropping for Jeff and I tomorrow, so you want to be able to So you
Check
get that.
it out.
Yeah. So Jeff, that's another one where Jeff, a lot of our overseas, people that aren't in the U.S. have time differences get to check out Jeff's show on Saturday mornings. And then Connie's really doing a good service here. Please hit the like, the subscribe, the notifications. That's always a good thing. And I wanted to get to this other one. Tina Hall says, Chip, my hubby's pretty damn glad he's married to me right about now. And I've known Tina for years, and she's a hodler for years, and an investor. And, I can only imagine that he's very, very happy. And then Diehard said he got divorced 3 times this year, which is amazing because it's only May. So there you go.
Good job.
That's incredible. I would have been an amazing feat if you could get married once and divorced once, but 3 times?
3 times. Hey, three.
I'm not here to judge, Jeff.
Nice. So Jeff Beech is saying, Jeff, your chat Saturday was great info. Thanks. That was awesome.
And then right here, Nick Van Son says, should I invest in XRP right now before the outcome of the lawsuit? Well, only you are the really one that can make that decision. Jeff and I certainly are, we're entertainers. We don't give out financial advice. I can only talk about what I do. Jeff talks about what he does. But for me, my thoughts are, you got to remember what the all-time high of XRP was going 2017 into 2018 when we had that giant bull run where for the first time Bitcoin touched $20,000. You have to remember that XRP hit $3.84. So is it a fantasy to think they can hit 4? Hell no. And when there is clarity or they come out and they say, well, the case is done, I kind of see, my thoughts are there's going to be a fine involved. We compare it to previous cases, Kick and Telegram. Both got fined, right? They're a little bit different in the sense they were ICOs, initial coin offerings, but what are they going to do? They still have to go in a court of law. They've got to prove that Ripple sold an unregistered security. It's got to tick all 4 prongs of the Howey test. So they have to prove it, right? But today's XRP, I'm very clear, today's XRP, it's completely decentralized. Back then, XRP was not decentralized from Ripple. Ripple controlled more of the validator nodes, and it wasn't a decentralized asset. But was it a security? That's what we have to find out. That's what we're going to really find out. But me personally, knowing that the all-time high is almost $4, nah, I wouldn't have any reservations myself. But again, you have to explore what's better for you. And, will it take some time? I happen to feel like $10 is not out of the question. $20 not out of the question. 15. Will it hit that? Well, that remains to be seen. But, Jeff and I have spent 3.5 years looking at XRP, studying it, talking about it. And look, the team is solid. The fundamentals are solid, and they're solving a real problem. And Jeff, let's remind everybody about the whole idea of solution and problem and kind of how that works when you're dealing with a project.
Well, that's always very interesting because there's a lot of projects out there that create solutions and then they go hunting for the problem to fit their solution in. They're like, this is the greatest solution ever. Now we got to figure out what the problem is. And then there's other projects, right? There's other projects. They see the problem, they create the solution, and it's a game changer. Not all of them are going to work, but hey, it's a lot better than being in the other boat where you have this awesome solution, and you're hunting the problem. However, sometimes you have the solution or you have the solution, you haven't launched it yet, and you're like, this is an amazing solution. I like this concept. We got to figure out something to use this solution for.
Exactly
Kind of
right.
reminds me of the Yeti coin.
The Yeti coin will live at one point. So I think it's Zhao Victor says, Jeff and Chip, what's the first few things that a newbie trader should learn? Help me, because that's where I'm at. It's actually a really good question. Thank you for that Fiverr. That's a really good question. And, quite honestly, where do you start? But I think what you really want to take a look at is you want to look at the project itself. It's exactly what Jeff just said. Is it a solution in search of a problem, or is it really solving something? And you look at what the terms, for example, Swift moves about between $5-6 trillion a day, right? So if you think that you look at Ripple has over 400 plus partners, they have a lot of partners probably queued up and ready to go in the United States, right? So you look at it like that. So you're like, well, why isn't the price moving? Why do we see all these other projects touching these big numbers? Well, there's also a bigger supply when it comes to that. But look at projects which are actually doing something. You look at Hedera Hashgraph, HBAR. You look at a project like Matic, or Polygon as it's known now, where Polygon is really kind of creating this side chain to avoid all these crazy fees. and they're innovating, right? So they're doing some innovation, and there's a reason why their price is moving up. You look at something like an XDC, you start looking at these projects, and you have to start evaluating and doing some research. Now, you hear this often, Jeff, do your own research. Well, what does that mean? People don't always know what that means, your own research. Jeff, what is if I say do your own research, what could that entail?
I don't know, Chip.
Okay, good. I'll tell you.
I think step number one.
I don't know.
Step number one in do your own research. You have to really identify what your investment objectives are. You have to figure out what's your risk tolerance. Are you willing to put money in that will turn to zero? Because that's your starting point. If you take money, you put it into any investment, any stock, anywhere you put that money, your money could go from, let's say you put $100 in, it could be 100 today, it could be 50 tomorrow, it could be 25 the next day, it could be 100 to 150 to 200. You don't know. I look at my stock portfolio, some are way down, some are way up. Most of them I'm in for the long term. I did trade for a while, and that's a whole different, thing. But you have to be I think you have to be very cognizant of where you're at this point in time. My experience, and I believe others have had similar experience. You can never guess the bottom. You can never guess the top. Trying to work with all the different algorithms and charts and all that is best left to those that understand the charts. And you should never chase the FUD. You should never chase the FOMO. I think that's the beginning, and then you have to do your own research, and you have to then look at the projects. I think that's number one, or number whatever, when you, Chip, and you brought that up before, is research. Figure out, am I comfortable with Bitcoin? Am I comfortable with Ethereum? Am I comfortable with XRP? What the heck is some of these other projects? Are they easy to invest in? Is it difficult and complex? And then you have to go from that point forward. That's it. But there's a lot of them out there, and if you're in it for the short term and looking for a way to get rich in the short term, it's very, very difficult. I know people have made a ton of money in the space. They just happen to catch the wave. They happen to put money in a certain area. And then, other people follow and try to say, hey, this guy made a ton of money there, so I'm going to do it. It's that a lot of the big money that was even made in Bitcoin wasn't short term. These are guys that got in back in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2014, and they rode the wave up to 20,000 and made, huge amounts of money. And there's others that, risked everything. There was a guy, an article, Chip, I was reading, the guy risked everything. He put his whole life savings into Dogecoin based on, what he saw Elon Musk doing or talking about. He put everything into Dogecoin. He said he's a Dogecoin millionaire right now, but he put everything in. He risked everything.
And he was okay. But you have to be comfortable with that, Jeff.
Exactly. You have to be comfortable. I don't agree with doing it that way, but that's my style. Other people are willing to throw caution to the wind. I've seen people in the casino, they go and play their gambling games and all that, and they're willing, and they don't go in with a strategy. They don't know, and they're willing to risk everything. And that's just not my style. I don't know.
Then look at CZ from Binance. I mean, he took all his and, basically, he's put it all into crypto. So that's what you have to do. By the way, Apex did write a good article on this about how to do your own research. I asked him to drop the link in there, but if you look at Apex Crypto on Twitter, it's pinned awesome. Right to the top over there. And it is a cool article about how to do your own research. Kind of takes you through everything, and it's really cool. I recommend doing that. And I wanted to say a big shout out to John Gage. Rampart, this is XRP Engine 51. We need some clarity. And I wondered why that name John Gage sounded familiar. And so if you guys probably don't remember this, but there was a show called Emergency that ran in the 70s. I caught the reruns.
That up there.
Yeah, I caught the reruns and stuff. But who were the main? So it was dedicated members of Squad 51 of the LA County Fire Department, newly created paramedical rescue service, and they did these life and death challenges. Blah blah blah. Partners John Gage and Darren DeSoto. No, I'm sorry, Roy DeSoto. Darren Soto. Darren Soto or Roy DeSoto. That's why I sometimes call him Darren DeSoto and Darren instead of Darren Soto. Some of that stuff gets embedded in, one final episode aired in 1977, but that's funny where that I really appreciate that, John. John Gage. There you go, man. So that's it. You know, when you look at what you're going to do and you're going to invest in stuff, you know, don't be afraid to take some shots. But again, a lot of times you'll hear, whether you're in the stock market or hear diversification. Well, why do you do that? Well, it's the same way a venture capitalist approaches how they invest in companies. Yeah, this sounds great on paper, but will it work? So they invest in 50 companies knowing full and well that 47 of them are going to fail. Some of them might kind of marginally make it, but there's going to be one that's going to hit it out of the park. And that's how venture capitalists invest their money. And that's how they only need that one or two to really hit it big, you know, 5 marginally or whatever, but a lot of them just end up failing. So if you go into, Jeff and I have read this before, like if we look at what was big in 2016, there's a lot of coins that aren't around anymore. And they were in the top 10 back then. 2015, top 10 coins no longer exist. So, you know, diversification is not a bad thing, you know, looking at what other people are doing, you know, but the bottom line is you got to do what you feel comfortable with, and projects that resonate with, you know, you. In other words, you connect with what they're doing. I'm not saying get emotional, but look at what the project is trying to solve there, and look at the market. Is there a big enough market to support it? Is there any adoption? Because you can have a great idea. There's a lot of great ideas. We've all had them for businesses. And at the end of the day, you know, and if you start a business, doesn't necessarily going to guarantee anything. A lot of it's timing too with some of these projects. But you look at Matic, it came out of nowhere and boom, right up to 80 cents.
Hey, Chip, Tina Hall is wondering when you're coming out with the Yeti NFT.
Ooh, Jeff and I have talked about
something
this,
we've been
Tina.
talking about. We have been talking about that.
We have been talking about
we need
this.
to orchestrate that.
But one of the things we really, you know, the way we're looking at this is since we're really big advocates of Flare and we believe strongly in, there's 2 new projects that are coming out. Now, I think May 5th, May 6th, don't hold me to it. Flare put a tweet out and said, hey, there's a new NFT that's coming to the Flare. And I was like, oh, is this Sparkle? And they're like, no, Sparkle's awesome, but it's not that. So we already know of Sparkles that's going to be released on Flare. We also know of a new one that's coming. So this is great. We kind of want to wait for that. First of all, the fees are less. You know, the problem is the gas fees. You know, not that we're going to sell a Yeti, you know, a Yeti NFT for, you know, forget about selling it for ETH. Sell it for XRP. You know, you maybe sell it for XRP, or you sell it for, you know, any of the other ones that fit on the Flare network, Doge, you know, Litecoin, whatever it might be. So that's something what we're thinking about. But I would much prefer to endorse the ecosystem that Jeff and I, you know, highly believe in.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments here. Harry Callahan said, I think crypto will go away and the fiat system will succeed. But if you believe this, then you need to get off this channel. That was one.
That's a
there
joke,
was another.
Jeff.
Hey, I know. There was another one over here, but I couldn't find over here, so I can't post it. I'm looking on the. So by the way, I pinned Apex's article to the YouTube channel. So it's in the YouTube chat, and I pinned it,
Nice.
but I had to do it from YouTube. But while I was doing that, I found a comment from New York Hostage, and she said that's
New
why
York
my
Hostage.
husband. I don't know, it's the name. That's why my husband doesn't know I own crypto. I'm hoping someday soon I can tell him we're rich and he can finally retire. That's awesome. That's a nice comment.
Wow,
you know, we
how
got to
nice
keep
is
it
that?
secret for a little while.
Yeah, and
Be
then
a
you
big surprise, you know, when it actually happens.
I got some news.
Yeah.
We own a lot of crypto.
Yes, what?
And you're like
Yeah.
waiting for the other shoe to drop. And the bad news? No, there's no bad news. It's all upside. But the whole idea with DeFi is changing. The whole idea of passive income, the whole idea of using your existing crypto, that's another thing. You want to look for projects that have that potential. And that's what Flare is all about. You know, being able to get obviously, if you owned XRP back in December, early December, before they took the snapshot, I mean, who says here's a Spark token? And who says that we're building this network where you can take your XRP, put it into a smart contract, have I think it's 2.5 for collateral, and you can earn, whether the smart contract is successful or not, you get something in return. Okay, so that's earning. That's taking what you already have and making more of it. And that's that's the road we're heading down. That's exciting.
Passive income.
Passive income.
Passive income. And that's where the DeFi space allows people to leverage passive income. And there were a lot of opportunities if you had a lot of money and you knew how to take advantage of all the ins and outs, there were mechanisms to earn big passive income, you know, but now we're seeing it available in DeFi. That's like even with Mashinsky, he said those types of returns were only available to institutions lending to other institutions. Here, you finally get to see regular retail investors being able to partake in some of these opportunities. But I want to show you, you know, here's a good example. XRP Miner, you know, put something up. He bought a stock for $1,200 that's now worth 60. And he said he'd rather go with XRP, but that is a perfect example.
Right on.
It happens whether you're in the stock space or the crypto space, you know, and that's the risk that you take investing. And you have to be comfortable with that loss, but you also sometimes have to know, you know, that it's either a long-term hold or it's a short. If it's a short-term play, then you maybe not, you know, you should do it. You know, maybe you're not suited for short-term plays.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not a big fan of it.
Jeff, there are different investment, strategies.
There are, and then you know, I forgot to play this for Sir John earlier.
Lily Marlin.
So I just had to play that. We got to get this puppy.
The usual, sir.
Please. Please.
Please. Please.
Please.
Please.
There you go. Look
that was awesome.
Gosh.
That was awesome,
Gosh,
man.
Look at the time.
What a great day today. So we will be putting out a link. So, you know, there'll be a link out there on YouTube to where you can make sure that you hold your spot, even though everyone's welcome, to our show on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Alex Mashinsky, CEO of Celsius. Come ready with questions. We'll have a Q&A period. We'll probably maybe take some questions throughout. And again, tomorrow, Chip, is another day. It's actually Monday. I can't believe it. And we'll be back again right here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And we will see you on the next one, as I'm super deep in thought because the hour passed and it doesn't matter
Chip,
what browser I'm running.
It doesn't. Did you throw out that thing? You know what everyone should do to really help us out? If you can go to the other channel, subscribe to the other channel.
Just toss it
yeah,
in there.
go to that link, subscribe to the other channel. If you're brand new here, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notifier, get notified every time we post a new video. And when you go to the other channel, do the same thing. Subscribe to the other channel, hit that bell notifier, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.